Hey YouTube friends, Happy New Year. It is 2020 and today I thought I'd do a little update on some of the resources I'm using for my kindergartner. If you saw my kindergartner video that I put out a few months back with all the resources I'm using for him, I showed you that we are using two different handwriting programs. We love and have used Handwriting Without Tears for quite some time with my other children as well. And I just started using the Reason for Handwriting K-book this year. And we also use Explode the Code for him for phonics and for handwriting. So I just wanted to show you guys in case this might help somebody to kind of correlate these materials. They work really well together. You can pair them together so well that it gives them phonics, it gives them handwriting practice. It just builds a really good, solid foundation if you use these together, like I'm about to show you. I know there's a lot of different other curriculum that you can use, and there's separate phonics, there's separate handwriting and things. We love Handwriting Without Tears, but I will say there's just not enough practice per letter for the lowercase. Now, we have done all of the uppercase letters. So he did his uppercase letters in pre-K, and in the beginning of kindergarten, it was just a review of uppercase. So in kindergarten, we just transitioned to lowercase letters because kids need to learn how to write properly. So not everything is a capital letter. Not every word has every single letter capital. So like his name properly is first letter capital, the rest lowercase. So it's very important because they're going to read lowercase as well, that they learn how to recognize and write lowercase letters. So this can be a little bit of a challenge at first, but it's very important to have them transition to lowercase writing. So this book here, the Handwriting Without Tears, starts them off in the uppercase, just reviewing the letters, uppercase, and then it'll go right into lowercase at about when did they start here? So uppercase. I think after this review page, they start doing lowercase letters. So yeah, so they start with the magic C, and then they start lowercase. So you have this line of practice, and then you have a few practice here in just the first letter of these words as the lowercase. And then they go on through the book, and they do all their lowercase letters in the order that they normally teach. So as I was doing this in conjunction with Explode the Code for his phonics practice, I noticed that I could pair all three of these resources together to give him that extra practice and a good foundation. So let me tell you what I am talking about here. If you have the Explode the Code series A, B, and C, if you flip to the back of the book, of any one of the books, A, B, or C, they're going to tell you which letters you're going to be practicing in any particular book. So book A covers consonants B, F, M, K, R, and T. And the book B is consonants P, J, H, S, N, and D. And then the last book, C, in the primer series, is C, L, G, W, Y, V, Z, and Q. So no vowels in A through C. So what I thought I would do is that when we were doing phonics in this book here, let me just do one that we recently did, for example. All right, so on this page, sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. It's a little tricky. I'm trying to find the first page of this. Okay, N. So when we were learning the sound of N for phonics, they're showing the lowercase n, and he is practicing lowercase n, and then he's being asked to do handwriting in lowercase n. Now, if your child doesn't know how to write in lowercase, It can be tricky when they get to this page. They might know everything phonics side, but how about the handwriting side? So they get to practice this N 6 or 7 times, whatever it may be, but then that's it. And then they're going to move on practicing N, for a little bit, and they have these other letters that they're practicing from previous lessons, but that's all you get. So I thought what I would do was find in here where he's going to be learning how to form an N, go by Handwriting Without Tears schedule, because I like how they form their letters. There's a way that they do it because each letter kind of goes into the next when they're forming them. So they kind of teach the R, because you can see they start at midline, they dive down, and then they swim up and over. Well, an N is the same as an R, except they're swimming up and over, and then they're going down. So that makes the N. Because I like the way that they teach handwriting formation, I always have, when I knew that he was going to need some more practice, when I placed my order for his homeschool stuff, I decided to go ahead and also get this book, A Reason for Handwriting. Now, I did get the teacher's guide for this. I'm not following it. I'm using Handwriting Without Tears way of teaching formation, but I'm using these sheets for extra practice, and it's worked out beautifully. So what I do is I line up the curriculum so that when he's doing N in his handwriting, he's working on N in his Explode the Code book, and then the rest of the week he's getting that extra practice in the letter. We already did N, and I don't have the N to show you, but I'll show you H here. So this is H. Now this isn't an issue because he still has the lines. He has the top line, the midline, and the bottom line. And this we're just calling the basement. So we don't use what they use for like the ladder of the treehouse. We just call it the basement. This doesn't have a third, but I call it the basement. Here there's a third, top, mid, and bottom line, and I call the bottom there the basement as well. So I use the same language throughout, and he's just practicing his phonics and his handwriting with these 3 curriculums, and it's worked out beautifully. And then he'll do like a little picture with the lowercase. So for example, the next one I believe he's working on, is it M? So M actually came in when I started doing this. We were already past the Explode the Code because they did M in book A, but he's on book B now, but I'm just having him do the practice because M comes after N in this book, and then he will just do the practice, extra practice here. But then once H comes, he will be also doing it in Explode the Code. Let's see. I believe that's his next letter, because J he already did earlier as well in book A for Explode the Code, but he's going to do H next. After that, here we go. So here he's going to do H. So it's going to line up with A Reason for Handwriting, and then it's going to line up with Handwriting Without Tears. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that was a little helpful for you, so that if you get these resources, you can kind of line these up together, and it makes for some really great practice and phonics, like handwriting practice and phonics practice. And I just wanted to show you that this is just the manual for A through C, and I use that for those pages where you do the riddles, and there's a page for them to do in here. And I have all these cards as well from Explode the Code. You're supposed to cut these out, but I just use this as a display so he can see the letter that we're working on throughout the week. S, he can see how it's formed, and it's for sock, and it's just another thing. You can use it the way they suggest, which is cutting them out and then using them at different times. I personally just like to display it at his desk when he's working on his handwriting and phonics, and then it's on his board for the week, and that's how that works. If you like Handwriting Without Tears, I suggest printing out and just having this handy. These are the lowercase letter formation guides, and this just tells you the right wording to say. So Magic C, up like a helicopter, bump the line, and back down and bump the line. And it has it for all of the lowercase. They also go into, I have in here cursive, but we're not doing cursive with handwriting without tears, but I could get into that in another video. And then I also have the uppercase. So this is handy to have, and also numbers too that they have here. But this is handy to have just so that you know the correct terminology. So they hear constantly Magic C, up, you know, up like a helicopter, bump the line, or they hear start at the dot, hit the ball, run the bases, and then stop to make an E. So they kind of get the same language all the way through. Anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful, and I thank you for stopping by. I'll see you soon.